Hello, beautiful people. The following is a short morning fascia routine to open your myofascial meridians, especially in the back body, and to awaken your fascial core, your deep front line. So without further ado, take a moment to center in, rub your hands, awakening the nerve endings in the palms, and then take one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart space. Take a few breaths in and out, connecting to the moment, your body in space, your breath. And then let the hands go, open your eyes, and come onto all fours. Tuck your toes under, and now roll your pelvis back so the tailbone gets heavy. You lift the skin behind your pubic bone up, you lift your abdominals slightly and shift back, holding the core, the fascial core, and then sway from side to side, gently opening the fascia of the lower back. Also the arm lines, how they connect to the back. So you're reaching your hands away and tensioning gently the tissues whilst you're swaying your pelvis from side to side. And then center your pelvis and roll forward into a kneeling plank. The hands turn slightly in, reach through the crown of the head, tailbone long, bend the elbows, move halfway down, and then push yourself back up. Let's do this one more time. Inhale as you move halfway down. Exhale, push back up. Inhale once more. Exhale, good morning. Inhale, flow down all the way and move onto your forearms, elbows under your shoulders, and reach your tailbone away from you. Your lower back lengthens. Begin to sway your pelvis from side to side again, and you, in this way, massage the tissues of the front of the hips. Now roll onto your right hip, and the weight of your pelvis is now moving down towards the floor through or with the tissue, and you massage now also the IT band area of your right leg. Keep the pubic bone lifting so you have still this sense of length in the lower back. And then come back to center, roll to the other side onto your left arm, and just move forward and back, gently massaging the fascia, the fascial structures of the front of the hip, of the side of the leg, the side of the thigh. And then come forward again. Take your hands next to your shoulders, reach your tailbone long, bring your chin slightly in, tuck your toes under, take an inhale, and exhale, push yourself up into a kneeling plank, pushing up with the exhalation, and then push back into a downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent for now. In this position, your pelvic organs are unloaded. Fill the space between your shoulder blades, grounding through the hands, and roll the upper arm slightly outwards, so your armpits as if they want to move towards one another. Now deepen the hip creases in the front of the hips. With knees bent, reach your right hip away from the rib cage, and this is a beautiful opening of the fascia, including psoas that is connected with the fascia of your diaphragm, and then shift to the other side. So keep the bend in the knees, keep the fold in the front of the hip, and just move the pelvis away from the rib cage, and take a breath here. Center again, and now pedal your feet. So opening the tissues on the backs of the legs with very little load, being in this beautiful position of downward facing dog. Step your feet together. Exhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, and bend your right knee, open the right hip up just as much as comfortable. Tailbone long, pubic bone lifts, and the knee moves behind you. So you tension the front of the hip, and you open also again tissue from diaphragm to psoas, to inner thigh. Take your right leg down and step forward with your right foot. Lower the left knee down and sway or shift your pelvis forward and back. You may want to use blocks here. Gentle shifting forward and back. And then shift back, bring the toes towards you, keep a little bend in your knees, and you can take your hands on the inside of the legs and just wave with your foot from left to right and keep your pelvis still as you do so. And then bring the toes out to the side, so diagonally to the right. Shift your weight forward and bend the front knee deeply, and pubic bone lifts, lengthen the lower back, and notice the opening of the inner right hip, also that beautiful dorsiflexion in the front foot. And then center your foot again, so framing the foot with the hands, and roll up into a kneeling position. Take your left shin bone behind you and line up the front foot and the knee, and gently move with a long spine, long tailbone, down into more dorsiflexion, a beautiful hip opener in this beautiful gate pose here. Let's do one more, gently opening the tissues of the inner thighs. Now shift back, turn the toes forward of the right leg, left hand down to the floor, right arm up to the ceiling, long in the lower back again, chin tuck slightly back, and then reach your right arm alongside your ear. And if you want, you can let the arm, top arm, droop over your head to increase the tension here. Let this be a soft tensioning. Now engage the arms, also activate the arm a little bit, and with the pelvis staying as upright as possible in the same position here, bring your hand as if you would hug over a Swiss ball down, elbow and shoulder girdle follow, and then back up again, opening into this beautiful side bend. And then roll over the imaginary ball once more and back into your side bend. Now activating your deep front line, so pelvic floor, deep abdominals engage. You're lifting yourself up onto your fingertips, or if you like, you're floating your fingertips up. Pubic bone lifts, heart is lifted. And then flow over, bend the right knee, and take your left arm now over to the right, and the hands can be on the block or the forearm on your knee, into a side bend of the left side here. And then come back up, turn yourself to forward again, repositioning your feet so they're hip width distance apart. Extend the left leg and step back into a downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal out your feet, still with a long spine. Step your feet together again and move into a moment of stillness. Pause here, reactivating your arm lines, chin is slightly tucked, and breathe. Maybe you notice a difference between left and right, even just it's a sense of temperature or space. And then lift your left leg up, bend the left knee, tailbone long, pubic bone lifts, and the right heel reaches down to the floor. And the left knee, the top knee, moves a little bit behind you, tensioning the front of the hip. And then take your left knee down and step forward into your kneeling lunge position here. Stay here for a moment in this beautiful deep lunge. Now begin to shift forward and back. As said, you can use blocks here. Gently shifting forward and back, and then bring the toes towards you. You can take your hands to the inside of the leg, bend the knee a little bit, and turn the foot as if you would want to wave someone. Keep the pelvis still as possible. It's just the femur bone rolling from side to side, and we bend the knee a little bit to have a bit more disassociation in between the fascia of the hamstrings and the calf muscles. And then turn your foot out to the side, bend the knee, moving down into a beautiful gentle hip opener here, or if it's gentle for you, be gentle. You may want to move a little bit higher to make it gentle and invite your nervous system to relax in this pose. And then frame your front foot with both hands. Again, roll up into your kneeling lunge here, Anjaneyasana, and turn your right foot behind you, lining up the left knee with the right knee, and shift into a beautiful hip opening stretch. So inner thigh muscles, they open and release as you shift into this beautiful opening, and just go as far as you feel comfortable and still can breathe with ease. So it shouldn't be shaky or in any way very strong. Now come up again, turn your toes to the front, the long side of the mat, and move into a side bend. Right hand on the mat or a block, and the lower back is long, and you're reaching the outside of your left foot down to the mat. And then you can drape your top arm over your head, increasing a bit of tensioning. I feel that alongside my pelvis. Activate the arm again, and then roll your hand, elbow, and shoulder girdle and strike them over the imaginary Swiss ball in front of you. And then open into your side bend again. And once more over this imaginary Swiss ball, opening the tissues in the rib cage, of the rib cage. Now activating the deep front line, take your arm, left arm to the top, and engage pelvic floor abdominals. And you may want to come onto the fingertips here or lift up a little bit. Hold, breathe. And then come all the way up, bend the left knee and shift into a side bend for the right side, and beautiful side stretch here. Breathe. This feels nice. And then come back up, turn yourself forward again, and bring your hands to the mat. Tuck your toes under, extend the back leg, and push yourself back into a downward facing dog. And with the feet hip width distance apart, the creases of the hips, deep length in the bottom, in the lower back, begin to just bounce your heels down. And let this be a light bounce. So as if you just feel the springiness of plantar fascia, Achilles tendon, and it almost happens by itself if you let it. And then come to stillness for a moment, and then slowly make yourself walking forward with your feet to your hands into a squatting position of your choice, so you can have something under your heels. Your heels can be off the floor. Bring your palms in front of your chest and lift your heart. You may want to push the elbows into the knees. Close your eyes or bring your gaze towards the floor. Breathe here. Finding center. A day without a squat is a day unlived. I love squats. It doesn't matter how they look like, really. It's one of those ancestral postures of repose. And if your squat is sitting on the chair, that's also completely okay. Or you need a bench or a pillow underneath you, or elevation of the heels, that's fine. We're all built differently. And then reach your arms forward, drop your head, and allow the tissues of your back body to open. And then just turn your shoulder girdle left to right, reaching the hands away from you. So you create a glide in the tissues of the back body here. And then center the upper body again. Come to a seated position. Swing your legs to the left. Take your hands forward, out to the side, and then turn yourself to the right. Take your right hand behind you, and your left arm circles alongside your ear, and then you push into your right hand, lift your pubic bone up, lift your pelvis, take the left hand behind your head, pushing into the right hand. Breathe here, enjoy the opening of the front of the hip and the fascia of your abdominals, also in the arm lines, in the back arm lines specifically, and then lower down again. And swing your legs over to the other side. Try it without hands. Take your arms forward and up, out to the side. Take your hands to the left behind you. Swing your right arm across the floor and then alongside your head, tailbone long. Push into your hand and then take your right hand and hold the base of your skull a little bit, so you have that as a little support here, and you can really open up in the front of the body. Breathe, and then lower down again, and take your knees to in front of you, and let them fall out to the side. Drop your head, and the feet don't have to touch here, and just fold forward for a moment. And roll back up. Excellent. Cross your legs, take your hands behind you. You can come onto your fists if you like as well, or have the fingertips pointing towards you, so whatever works for you. Push into your hands, lift pubic bone up, breathe. And lower the pelvis. Take your hands onto your knees and create length in the arms, collarbones wide, and you don't necessarily have the hands right on your thighs. They can reach away. It really depends on the length of your arms. Just that you find this beautiful stabilizing sense and support of your arms for your spine to arise with ease. Find the center of your sit bones, lengthen the lower back, softness in the front of the body, breathing into the back of the rib cage. Take a few empowering, centering breaths here. Sitting in your own beautiful elevating strength and energy. And then bring your palms to your heart space and bow your head to your heart, to your center, to the earth. Thank you for practicing. I see you next time.